put other people's lives in jeopardy. Someone could have been hit.
Tonight on DC News Now, concern from neighbors as a shooting injures a man and damages a restaurant in a popular part of DC.
A Maryland smoke shop with a new line of defense to stop break-ins.
I want to be able to just lock the door and just go home, not put a gate up, not worry about anybody coming in.
But the DIY jumper cables to the security gate are stirring up controversy.
Get ready for clear and cold temperatures through the overnight into your Tuesday morning. But don't worry, sunshine will warm things up tomorrow. More details on that coming up.
President Trump considering suspending the federal gas tax. Why experts say it may not be much help as the price of the pump soars.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. A man shot early Saturday morning in the district. The bullets also shattering the window at this popular restaurant there in Southeast. Investigators are still searching for the shooter.
And DC News Now's Yamari Sase live tonight at Navy Yard. So, Yamari, how bad is the damage there?
Yeah, well, the shooting actually happened nearby Asteria Marini because, as you can see behind me, the window at that restaurant was shot by one or a couple of the bullets during this scene. The bottom window is slightly shattered as well, but over the weekend, they were out here trying to fix that window or at least board it up in the meantime. But people that we spoke to in the neighborhood say they're definitely concerned and shocked by the shooting that took place. They are glad that the person is alive, but essentially they do hope something can be done better to ensure that more safety's around.
I'm sorry that it happened, and it's frightening.
A boarded up window now stands as one of the only visible reminders after a shooting that happened Saturday morning in Southeast. According to DC police, officers responded around 2:34 a.m. to the scene along Water Street for a shooting. When they arrived, they found the man who was shot. He was conscious and breathing and quickly taken to the hospital. He's expected to be okay. One of those bullets striking the window here at Asteria Marini.
Unfortunately, it put other people's lives in jeopardy.
Police say the suspect is a black male who was wearing a black ski mask, a long sleeve black shirt, light blue jeans, and black shoes. For neighbors, they say the violence is unsettling, especially in the busy waterfront area, but they hope something can be done to make the area safer.
I still feel fairly safe in the neighborhood, and I hope these people who did this, that they won't do anything like that. I think sometimes the way the police decide how they're going to patrol certain areas, I would like to see some changes in that.
Now, if you know anything about this shooting, you are encouraged to contact police. They're still investigating a motive and find a suspect for this case. For now, reporting live in Southeast, I'm Yamari Sase, DC News Now.
Yamari, thank you. Heavy hearts at a district high school as students learn it was a beloved senior who was shot and killed in Tenleytown on Thursday, just weeks from graduation. Jackson Reed classmates remembering Brady Flores as a talented football and lacrosse player who was considering a career in the military or law enforcement. And investigators say the 18-year-old was shot in an alley right near the high school Thursday afternoon. He died at the hospital. For those who knew Brady, they're remembering him as this person with a very bright future and approached life with such determination and purpose.
He was pretty, never did anything wrong to me. He seemed like a pretty nice guy. Well, he was a really good athlete, very athletic, worked very hard, and obviously the football team loved him. So.
The school is offering counseling to students and staff while police are still searching for the shooter. In Northern Virginia, a judge in Fairfax County has dismissed a lawsuit from a Centerville high school teacher who's accusing the county of retaliating against her. FFXNow.com is reporting the latest developments. Zainaid Perez originally accused 2 staff members at a school of helping 2 girls get abortions without their parents' consent. The accusations launching several investigations, including from state police, lawmakers, and the school system. Fairfax County Schools is saying that their investigators found no evidence to substantiate Perez's accusations. The 2 other investigations are still ongoing. In dismissing the lawsuit, the judge writing the school system has acted reasonably, while the Americans United for Life, the organization backing Perez's lawsuit, says it's weighing the legal options.
All new tonight in Maryland, health leaders are monitoring 2 passengers who are on a flight that briefly included a cruise ship passenger infected with hantavirus. But they say this is out of an abundance of caution as the threat to the public does remain very low. They're not releasing any specifics about the 2 passengers. But the last time someone in Maryland had hantavirus was back in 2019. The disease is most commonly spread by rodents. And while this strain that hit the cruise ship can be passed from person to person, health leaders say it's typically due to very close contact for extended periods of time. We'll have much more coverage on the hantavirus coming up in our next half hour.
All right, my friends, we started wet and gloomy, and we ended not bad.
Not bad at all. And Chief Meteorologist Jackie Lair is here, and now we're dealing with a little bit of a cool down.
Yeah, so with the gradual clearing of those skies and with, less wind and also high pressure back with us, that's going to allow for those temperatures to drop. Already right now, we're already in the low to mid 50s, eventually back in the upper 40s for DC, but elsewhere we're talking about those overnight lows into lower 40s out towards some of the suburbs just outside of the Beltway, 30s along and west of the I-81 corridor. So yes, it's going to be a chilly start as we're kicking off your Tuesday morning commute. There are some frost advisories and freeze warnings to talk about, mainly for areas back out towards the Shenandoah Valley, some of the higher elevations as well. Frost advisories in that light blue. That's where we could see those temperatures drop as low as the middle 30s. Meanwhile, the freeze warning closer to those temperatures right around the freezing mark into early tomorrow morning. So after that chilly start, we'll eventually see temperatures back in the middle 60s by 2 p.m. Eventually, we'll see those high temperatures bouncing back in those lower 70s as we head toward your Tuesday afternoon, thanks to the ample amounts of sunshine we will see for your Tuesday. So yes, tracking the sunshine and the 70s for Tuesday. Wednesday, tracking our next best chance for some wet weather and the threat for some thunderstorms. I'll go over the details and timing of that wet weather and how much rainfall we can expect from that next system coming up in just a few minutes.
Jackie, looking forward to that. A smoke shop in Maryland has gotten pretty creative in trying to keep out criminals. The Montgomery County business using some DIY techniques.
Yeah, the owners have stepped up security after they were twice broken into. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live tonight in Germantown.
All right, Daniel, what did they do here that's raised some eyebrows?
Well, Susan, we are here at Funkle Dan's Smoke Shop in Germantown. They, of course, have locked doors. There's a gate up here, as you can see. But over here is what's most notable. There's jumper cables right there, causing some people to raise some eyebrows. Funkle Dan's Smoke Shop has security cameras all over, but even that didn't stop teenagers from stealing from the store in October 2024.
We had a couple of kids break in and, steal a lot of product, and it wiped us out.
One of the owners, who didn't want to be identified, says after that they put up a gate but were broken into again in March 2025. More than $30,000 worth of merchandise stolen between the 2 burglaries.
After that, we just thought about a clever way of, trying to keep them out. So we just added a bunch of stuff to the gate,
including thick chains and a jumper cable. The owner wouldn't confirm if it's hooked up to anything.
To keep people out and let them know that if they come in, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's just mainly to deter people.
Customers say safety comes first.
Honestly, if it was my place, there's not anything I wouldn't stop from anybody entering my place. That's just one step.
The owner wishes he didn't have to go through all this.
I want to be able to just lock the door and just go home, not put a gate up, not worry about anybody coming in and destroying a place that we worked hard to build.
So that owner says he hasn't had any problems lately and hopes that continues, but he says the police have been very responsive in finding the people who have stolen from the store. We're live in Germantown. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
DC News Now is your local election headquarters. Virginia Democrats are scrambling now that the voter-approved congressional map was shot down by the state Supreme Court. That map favoring Democrats 10 seats to 1. The New York Times reports one potential option some Democrats are floating would involve replacing the entire state Supreme Court. They would need to reduce the mandatory retirement age for justices to 54, which is the age of the youngest justice. Several Virginia Democrats, though, have spoken out against the plan, as have many Republican leaders.
We are seeing them lash out with this new scheme to essentially fire all of the Supreme Court justices. It is really the sort of stuff you see in banana republics.
Early voting in Virginia for the midterm primaries starts June 19th. The primary election day is August 4th. And in the district, mail-in ballots for June's primary election are now on their way to voters, but they'll look a bit different. It's the first time voters in D.C. will use ranked choice voting. This is a sample ballot for the Ward 1 Democratic primary and shows a D.C. delegate race. You can see 5 candidates in rows to the left plus a write-in line, then 5 columns across the top for ranking. What you'll do, you start at column 1, your first choice, go down the rows until you find your favorite candidate, fill in that bubble. Then go to column 2, your second choice, and do the same. Continue that until you make all your selections. Now, to win, a candidate must receive more than 50% of first choice votes. If no candidate does, the person in last then eliminated. Their earned votes are redistributed to the voter's second choice. That continues until a candidate reaches 50% of the votes.
In our old voting system, you voted for a candidate, and if your candidate lost, your vote was just eliminated and your ballot was just eliminated. With ranked choice voting, you have more skin in the race. I think it gives the voters an opportunity again to feel like they're being heard.
So you may receive your ballot as soon as tomorrow. Mail-in drop boxes open May 22nd. Early voting starts June 8th with Election Day, June 16th.
The president is considering a temporary pause on the federal gas tax as a way to drive down the price drivers are paying at the pump. The tax is 18.4 cents added to every gallon of gas. Now, the money is used to pay for highways, road repairs, and other transportation projects all across the country, which could be impacted. But there are some experts saying that even if the tax is paused temporarily, drivers may only see prices drop by about 10 cents a gallon, depending on where oil prices and demand are.
What would happen is that gas prices would go down, and because gas prices have gone down, people would then buy more gas, which would then push gas prices back up. Gas prices have gone up $1.50, right? So even if they were 10 cents cheaper, it would still be $1.40 cheaper than since he began his illegal war. So it wouldn't really do much to help Americans who are struggling to pay.
The president, though, cannot use an executive order to get rid of this tax, even temporarily, as Congress needs to pass the legislation first. We're going to have much more on how to save on gas prices coming up on DC News Now.